Welcome back. This is Chicken Philosophy. The Divine Pymander, Part 6, in which I will pick up right where Gwydion left off in Part 5. Alright, so I hope everybody's doing well. 6 is a very special number. Let's start with the beverage today. So we're going to go back to the standard Z formula, purification before consecration. So this is an orange cup because, okay, just real quick, I've been doing this lately, and I feel like because I've actually physically observed people pulling up my videos, completely ignoring the thing in the corner that says to maximize the screen, and then proceeding to watch, you know, and even point out, oh, there's this weird little colored line at the top. Strange. Okay, so there should be a blue and an orange stripe up here, and if there's not a blue and an orange stripe, that means you need to take action. This is a call to action for those of you who don't see an orange and blue stripe. Click there, the corner of the screen, tap it, and then maximize the screen. Now you can see when I point here that this is a blue and orange episode. Why is it a blue and orange episode? Because you see there's these 15 different color combinations in a cycle of 15. And see, we're getting toward the end. See, we're on the bottom. I think we're at number 13 out of the 15. And pretty soon there'll be a compilation video, which is like where I take clips from each of the videos and put them all together with, anyway, it's fun. The compilation videos are here. I do recommend them. It starts with the early ones, but you can scroll down. If you click that, it'll automatically start playing the earliest one, but you can look at the playlist and scroll down to the more recent ones. Anyway, do check that out. We'll make that the end screen today. No, we won't. We'll come back. We'll revisit this topic later on in the episode. All right. So this is orange to match the orange that is the Divine Pymander of Hermes Trismegistus. What's orange about it? Well, orange corresponds to Hod, and Hod corresponds to Mercury, and Mercury, Thoth, Hermes, Odin, Mercury. Yeah, 777 correspondences under the number 8, maybe. You might say, isn't Mercury, couldn't you just say Mercury's orange? Wrong! It's yellow. Isn't the sun yellow? Wrong! The sun is orange. But the sun corresponds to Teilhard, which is yellow. Yes! Is that intentionally obtuse? I don't know. I'm not Moina McGregor Mathers. Or was she... Never mind. What? Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, cheers. This is some rosemary tea today. Rosemary. So when I decided to... Smells like a yoga class. I mean... There were enough, it was such a constant thing that and there were rosemary stuffed pillows for sale. So I don't know, maybe it's different in your local area, but rosemary is the smell of the yoga studio. Rosemary and sweat. And, anyway, cheers. Yes, very nice, very nice. And so I was going to be like, hey, I'll get the rosemary oil, I'll get some rosemary incense. And I looked at all my incenses, and I couldn't find any rosemary incense, which really just means I couldn't find it. It doesn't mean I don't have it. So here we have this Anya, which is to say third eye, and I'm probably not pronouncing anything correctly, not even English. Energy, it says here. I don't know what's in it, but... It's got a Buddha on it. Sometimes I try and fail. It's got a Buddha on it. Ooh, I pulled out 2. It's a sign. I will light both of them. And that's our vibe. We've got the Anya-oriented incense and the rosemary tea. Okay. You're welcome. All right, I'll stick this over here. Is there anything else before we get started? I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it. Let's get to the reading, shall we? Oh, if this is your first time, then maybe you want to start with the Divine Pymander Part 1, or check out the Divine Pymander playlist and, surf up and down and see which one you want to start with. And so, without further ado, let's see if the reading today is a little better than the last one. And if it gets lame, then to punish them, to punish the author, I will bring up this guy. But not yet. Not yet. Only when it proves itself. No. When I say lame, okay, I'll just keep reading. Very serious. 31. Holy the God, the Father of the universals. I'm going to go in with an optimistic, I'm going to assume that I resonate with it until it actively forces me out of that resonance. I mean, not until, unless, that's the word, right? Holy the God, the Father of the universals, whose counsel is perfected by his own powers. Holy the God, who willeth to be known and is known by his own. Still could be ambiguous enough to not hold honest, Dave. Holy the God, holy thou art, who by word hast constituted the entities. Holy art thou, of whom all nature was born, image. Did I say thou art holy? Okay, that last one. The one before that was holy thou art. This is thou art holy. Again, thou art holy. When the nature formed not. Some people are like, thou art holy, who art stronger than all power. Thou art holy, who art greater than all excellence. Thou art holy, who art superior to praises. Well, that's not very hard. I could be superior to praises right now with my pants off. I mean, that's unrelated, but superior to praises? What is that? The praise, maybe, you're such a good president. I mean, whatever, to be even better than that. Okay. Never mind. Accept rational sacrifices, pure from soul and heart, intent upon thee, O unspeakable, ineffable, invoked by silence. To me, beseeching that I stray not from the knowledge that is according to our essence assent, and strengthen me, and with this grace enlighten those who are in ignorance, brethren of my race, but sons of thee. I assume you mean humans. Wherefore I believe thee, and bear witness. I pass into light and life. Blessed art thou, Father. Thy man wisheth to be sanctified with thee, as thou hast delivered to him the whole power, i.e. to be so. In parentheses. Okay, whatever. So that was the end of chapter 1. All right. A little reminiscent of, the adoration to the Lord of the universe that some of us may know. Sanctus est Dominus de mundi, sanctus est qui natura non sphinxit, sanctus est vastus et potens, rex lucis et tenebrarum. You might be thinking, that's not the way I understood it to be translated into Latin. That's because you got the lame version from JR, not the version from Dr. Mack, the translator of Militaria Gloriosa, who I asked for help translating that. And he chose Sphinxit for formed, not creatosis. You idiot, that's a fucking different concept altogether. And Rex, because in this context, that Rex is really, even though it specifically means king, ruler, when you're talking about a god, you would use Rex. You wouldn't say Rector, like an idiot. So, anyway, yeah, I came in with my translation. They're like, oh, thanks, we already had it done. Back in I think that was 96. Yeah, sounds about right. Anyway. Okay, chapter 2 of Hermes, the Trismegistus to Asclepius, Catholic discourse. Oh wait, no, that means universal. So we're still not going to bring up, not until 1, everything. These are pagan gods. I was going to say Hindu gods. These are pagan gods talking to each other. So that helps balance out some of the overtly Pauline. 1. Everything that is moved, O Asclepius, is it not moved in something and by something? I'll say. Move it around, bash it around. So, let's keep it PG. Asclepius, most certainly. Oh, they're going to do a Socratic thing, maybe? Hermes, that I'm saying Hermes in a weird way. Like Hermione from that Turf Ladies book. Hermes, is there... Hermes... Is there not necessity that be greater in which it is moved than that moved? Asclepius, there is necessity. So not only did you understand the question, but you're like, oh, yes, absolutely. That's like me when I'm pretending to speak Hindi, Never mind. Don't you hate it when people do that? Because you're like, can you be here at 3:30 to fix the thing? Yes. Okay. Where were you? Yes. Oh, shit. You're one of those, right? Anyway, Hermes, stronger. Therefore, the motor. I just say, ha, tika. Ha, tika. Tika. Ha, tika. And then people are like, why didn't you? Ha, tika. Tika is like, okay. And I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. Or one dialect region, but not another. Hermes, stronger. Therefore... the motor, then that moved. I don't know. And maybe this will make sense to me later when I'm hearing myself read it. Asclepius, stronger indeed. Okay. So yeah, a car's motor has to be at least as strong or stronger. Or in other words, it puts out enough power to move the car forward along the ground, right? And maybe even puts out a little bit extra, but some between the motor and the wheels, some of it gets lost into the, right? Maybe, I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. But at least it isn't. Herms. There is necessity that that in which it is moved have a contrary nature. There is necessity. Oh, it's a question. Okay, so it's like, there is necessity that that in which it is moved have a contrary nature to that which is moved? Asclepius. And altogether so. Okay, all right. Is this some proto-Newton? So before an object gets moved, it's still. So the inertia of being still versus the inertia of movement. So it's not moving and you want to move it, so you push it and thereby make yourself its enemy. Figuratively speaking. What? Hermes, what's your point? That's what I'd say. No. 2. Hermes. Great then is this the world, than which there is not any body greater? It sounds like some kind of fundy trying to like, Big Bang? Oh, whoa. So come to church with me. You know, like, okay. Okay, Hermes, calm down. Asclepius, it is confessed. Where is this going? Hermes, and solid, for it hath been filled with many other great bodies. It's not shame for that. No. Or rather, with all as many bodies as there are, all of them? Asclepius, thus it is. Hermes, a body then is the world? Is the world a body because it's been filled with all the bodies? No, but I bet he's going to say, yeah, Asclepius says, a body. Yeah, the world's a body because it's full of bodies. Maybe it's a body, but not because it's full of bodies. Sorry, it may be in ancient Greek, this makes sense. Hermes and moved. Asclepius, most certainly. Yeah, it's a body and it's moved. Okay. Body in motion. It is proto-Newton. 3. Hermes. Of what size, then, must be the place in which it is moved, and what kind of nature? Approximately spherical, and if we measure the shadow here and the shadow 1,000 kilometers that way, then I can answer that second question. The first question was the size. Sorry, this is what he should say. Let's see what dumb shit he says and says. I mean, is it not much greater than it may be able to receive the continuity of the forward course? And that moved may not, impeded by the narrowness, retard its motion? It's okay when you're reading an old-timey book and they're not using it in the context of mental... Question mark. Asclepius. Some very good things, O Trismegistus. Hermes, stop hanging out with yes men. 4. Hermes. But of what kind of nature? Whether of the opposite, O Asclepius? But to body, opposite nature is the incorporeal? So in order to be moved, you have to be pushed, and pushing is a kind of oppositeness. And what could be more opposite to life than death? This is like a case of when Stephen Colbert was the De Colbert Code. Like if we define A as C, but A is A, C is C. Yeah, but let's just play along. A has some things in common with C, right? I guess. Okay, so let's say A is C. Now, let's use that definition. Let's use a different definition of C. Let's use a completely alternate meaning of the word C, and then apply that to a completely unrelated situation. Right? That's how it strikes me. I'm not saying that I'm just being an ass. Okay. Where were we? But of what kind of nature? Whether the opposite, but to body, opposite nature is the incorporeal. Right. Asclepius. It is confessed. Like, go on. I'll go along with you. Hermes. Is he like, I don't know mythology very well. Is Asclepius like trying to hook up with Hermes' sister? Or like, why is he so agreeable? Hermes. Incorporeal then is the place. But the incorporeal is either divine or God. Are these mutually exclusive? But the divine I now speak of is not the generated, but the ingenerate. Okay. 5. If then it be divine, it is essential. But if it be God, it becomes super essential. More than essential. Yeah, it's not exactly the same. Not more essential than essential. More than essential. Well, what's more than essential? I don't know. But otherwise, it is intelligible thus. Yes, I noticed a little bit of intelligibleness in a lot of what you're saying here, Hermes. But Asclepius is going along for the ride, so we'll pretend he's the audience stand-in. He's a pretty poor audience stand-in when he's like, yes. Yes. Like in that episode where Jerry's like hungry for apples, and they're like, yes.
Yes.
What? ChatGPT version -5, you know. For intelligible is the first God to us, not to himself. For the intelligible is the opposite of me. I'm intelligible to myself. For the intelligible falls under the understander by sense. The God then is not intelligible to himself, for not being something else than that understood is he understood by himself. 6. But to us he is something else, and because of this he is intelligible to us. But if the place is intelligible, it is not therefore but place. But I stopped paying attention, so I stopped talking shit. I'll pay attention again, sorry. But if also God, it is so, not as being place, but as capacious energy. But everything moved is not moved in the thing moved, but in the stable. We know what goes on in the stable. Sorry. And that moving it, therefore, is stable. Oh, not a stable. Stability. Like, oh, okay. Alright. There's a fun, something fun there, but I don't know what it is. Anyway. For it is impossible for it to be moved along with it. It can't be moved in the stable. Asclepius. How then, O Trismegistus, are things here moved along with those being moved? For the spheres, thou sayest... I wanted to... That's a gift from Pew's best friend / sister. Not slash like slasher movies, but... see, it's the planets. Isn't it neat? I'm trying to show it in a way that... And also farm for a thumbnail, you know, a little bit. She's the one whose hand is in this thumbnail for one of the taco recitals from my book Taco. There's taco, e-burrito, and hamster sauce. Hamster sauce I'm still in the middle of writing. Like Winds of Winter, it'll come out in a few years maybe, unless I get distracted. I've been distracted for a long time. I haven't been working on hamster sauce. I mean, it's poetry, so different times I approach poetry in different ways. I'll get back to the reading, but you know. Okay. Okay, what? No. For the spheres thou saidst, those errands are moved by the inerrant sphere. That's fun, thought-provoking, almost. Herms, this is not, O Asclepius, motion together, but counter motion. Yeah, when there's counter motion, then you gotta... PG. For they are not moved similarly, but contrary-wise to each other. Yeah, if you move at the same time, it's like nothing's happening, right? And the contrariety has the resistance of the motion constant. No arguments here. 7. For the reaction is arrest of progress. Wherefore also the errant spheres being moved contrary-wise to that inerrant by the contrariant opposition, because of the very opposition, are moved amongst each other by the stable. And it is impossible that it should be otherwise. Is it now? What are you talking about? For those arctic spheres, which thou seest neither setting nor rising, revolved about the same point, dost thou think to be moved or to stand still? Are we talking about Polaris or what? Asclepius, to be moved, O Trismegistus. Hermes, what sort of motion, O Asclepius? Asclepius, that being turned always about the same point. Hermes, but the circulation about the same point is motion restrained by stableness. You could look at it that way and be wrong. I mean, you rotate a thing. Yeah. Oh, it's motion restrained by stableness. Okay, maybe. I mean, if you get a little more abstract. You take two abstract general words like that and you can, play with them in that particular way. You could say that it is that, but you could also say that it is something else. So, but for the purpose of what you're going on about, what are you getting at, Hermes? For what is around the same hinders that exceeding the same, but that in excess being hindered, if it stand in that which is around the same, so also the contrary course stands firm, being always maintained by the contrariety. Okay. 8. But I will mention to you a terrestrial example, meeting the eye about this. Contemplate terran animals, such as the man, I say, swimming. Oh, terrain animal, the animals that live on the land. Contemplate them when they're swimming. Okay, where are you going with this? Fish out of water or a man in the water? For the water flowing onwards, the resistance of the feet and of the hands becomes stability to the man, that he be not carried along with the water, nor be sunk by it. Asclepius, thou hast spoken a very apposite example, O Trismegistus. Not opposite, but opposite. Never mind. Hermes, all motion. When was that word popular? Thank you, editor Edward. Hermes, all motion, then, is moved in stability and by stability. The motion, therefore, of the world and of every material animal does not happen to be generated by things without the world, like outside the world, okay, but by those within, to that without, either by soul or spirit, or something else incorporeal. For body does not move a thing with soul, not even the entire body, if it be without soul. Prove it. I'm just kidding. Just fucking with you. 9. Asclepius. How sayest thou this, O Trismegistus? Okay. Woods, then, and stones, and all other without soul, are they not bodies that are movers? Hermes. By no means, Asclepius. For that within the body, that moving the soulless, is it not that body moving both? That of the carrying and that of the carried? Wherefore soulless will not move soulless, but that moving has soul, because it does move. Thou seest therefore the soul weighed down, when alone it carrieth two bodies, and that indeed things moved are moved in somewhat, and by somewhat is plain. 10. Asclepius. Then the things moved must be moved in a void, O Trismegistus. Hermes. Mayest thou say well, O Asclepius, but none of the entities is void. For alone non-entity is void, and alien from the existence. But that being cannot be being unless it were full of the existence. For that existing never can become void. I feel like they're like touching on around the edges of some of the stuff that Ibn Arabi says much more eloquently and coherently. Asclepius. But are there not some things void, O Trismegistus? As an void measure? Do British people say N-A-N before void? As a void measure? Or a void cask? And a void well? And wine press? And other such like things? Oh, like empty things, okay. Hermes. Alas, for this great error, O Asclepius, those fullest and most replete dost thou consider to be void. 11. Asclepius. How sayest thou, Trismegistus? Hermes. Is not the air a body? It's fair. Asclepius. And technically there's like one, molecule per cubic meter in the vacuum of space, or something like that. It depends on where you are. That's maybe between planets, or maybe it's more than that between planets, but it's that between stars, and then it's less between galaxies, but it's like not actually void. Not what 11. Asclepius. How say wait no wasn't there a thing they just like when V'ger got not past the Oort cloud, but out to the level where it can measure the cosmic rays hitting it, and it's like, oh, it's ridiculously hot here. That's the good and bad don't really apply much there, but it's like the particles that are ridiculously hot are so far away from each other that if you were there, it would feel cold. Like, okay, so it's cold? No, it's stupidly hot. It's like, okay, so you'd need to, like, you'd fan yourself? Like, no, you'd freeze to death. Right, in the stupidly hot. Well, the particles are hot, but the particles aren't there. The space between the particles is what would freeze you. Like, go away. No, it's interesting, but it's also okay. So what? There's different definitions of things. There's things we take for granted on Earth as standards in this like very balanced petri dish of the elements. I mean, the ocean is freaking liquid all the time. Like, how balanced can you be in this Goldilocks zone, right? Okay, sorry, unrelated. I mean, unrelated to what? This isn't. Okay, where were we? Some things are void. Asclepius, a body. A body it is, yes, air is a body, okay. Hermes. And does not this body permeate through all beings, and permeating fill all things? All things. And body, does it not consist mingled of the four? Fire, water, air, and earth, good enough. Full, then, are all things which thou sayest are void of the air, and if of the air, then of the four bodies. And it happens that the converse expression is evidenced, that those things which thou callest full are these, what? All these are void of the air, these being narrowed of room by other bodies, and not being able to receive the air into their locality. Those things, then, which thou sayest are void, one must call hollow, not void, for they subsist and are full of air and spirit. You spirit, you brought it to the party, Hermes. We asked you to bring liquor. 12. Asclepius. The saying is uncontradictable, O Trismegistus. The air is body, and this is the body which permeates through all the entities, and permeating fills all things. But the locality, then, in which the universe is moved, what should we call it? Hermes. Incorporeal, O Asclepius. Asclepius. The incorporeal, then, what is it? Well, if you hack off it and is, never mind. I mean, is, fair enough. Okay, is, you can use even when you're talking about nothing. But it, does it apply? It maybe applies to nothing, but not to no thing. No, maybe. I don't know. Depends on who you're talking to and how much into agreement with your weird semantics they're willing to go. And Asclepius is very willing, so you can pretty much make him do whatever you feel like, Hermes. So let's see where this goes. Where were we? Hermes, mind and reason. Whole, WH, out of whole, comprehending itself, free from all body, inerrant, impassible from body, intangible itself, established, bracket established, like established without the E. Can you? Thank you. In itself, having capacity for all things and conservative of the entities, of which are, as it were, rays, the good, the truth, the archetype light, the archetype of the soul. Well, that's what's in the void. Mind. All right. Asclepius, the god, then, what is he? Hermes, he subsisting one, not of these things, but being also cause to these things that they are, as well as to all, and to each one of the entities. 13. Neither hath he left anything over besides that is not, for all things are those generate from the entities, not from those entities. For things not entities have not the nature to be able to become to be, but that of not being able to become anything. Again and again, the entities have not the nature of never to be. That last part was the only thing that made sense to me. The entities do not have the nature of never to be, right? I mean, maybe I'm influenced by Ibn Arabi. Entities, by definition, are potential existence, right? And they're given existence when the divine name... No, then we're getting a little too... They're skirting around the edges. They're like, well, are we Abrahamic? No, because I'm Hermes and you're Asclepius, and we're having a conversation about science. 14. Asclepius, whatever then sayest thou the god to be? Oh, I thought it was that. Hermes, the god then is not mind, but the cause that mind is. The cause that must mean something different than it would mean if you were to say it today. The cause of mind? It's not mind, it's the cause that mind is. So if mind causes something, God is the causing of the mind of that thing. So it's like the mouth. Are you talking about the demiurge? The demiurge is the mouth, but then so is Thoth in a different context. I mean, I'll keep reading. What was that? Nor spirit, but cause that spirit is. Unless it's just a weird way of saying the cause of spirit. It's the cause that mind is. It's the cause that spirit is. The cause itself. Nor light, but cause that light is. The light causes things, and the causing of the light is God. The causing of the spirit is God. The mind, the causing of the mind is God. I'll just keep reading. Whence one must venerate the God under these two appellations, these to him alone appertaining, and to no other. For neither of others called gods, nor of men, nor of demons. Do you mean demons or daemons? You are ancient Greek, after all, but you're being translated by a fundy, so who knows. Can anyone, even after a sort, be good? But the God alone, and this alone he is, and nothing else. Speaking generally, not saying he's technically a fundamentalist Christian. Denominative. For all things are separable from the nature of the good, for they are body and soul, having no place, able to receive the good. I'm completely neutral about whether I should continue reading the Pymander or not. Hey, Pymander, don't you think that'll confuse people? Don't I think what will confuse people? Well, you've just been reading the Pymander, and then you look off to the side and say, hey, Pymander, and I appear? It is a little random, but I think anybody who made it this far into the video probably started with part 1. That's true. But for the one or two who didn't see Pymander Part 1, then they'll definitely be a little confused. A bit. So do you want to tell the folks about the link that we're not gonna do the Circle of 15. We're gonna do his thing. Do you want to tell them about the link that's gonna be in the middle of the screen after the chicken cluck? Yeah. So we did Padmasambhava Part 22 yesterday from your perspective, and man, it was like a psychedelic fever dream on the astral plane, but like sort of vaguely inspired by or about historical events. Such as? King Ashoka made an appearance. He was, of course, around long before Padmasambhava, about, 1,000 years? Or 900 or 1,000 years before Padmasambhava, but they were in the same story here, and he was, I don't know, I don't know if he was more of an asshole in the story here than he was in real life. He was pretty violent in real life and was horrified by his own violence, which inspired him to become, like they say, no one preaches like a reformed sinner. So he became quite an evangelist, probably the first, royal using the word evangelical in its original meaning, he wanted to get Buddhism out there. He wanted to spread Buddhism far and wide and kind of even pressure, with the carrot and stick, or mostly carrots, I think, to get, the whole land that we presently know as India and then some, to become Buddhist, and he did for a while. But he was a character in one of the psychedelic poetic stories in today's reading. So yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, if you want a little bit of an energetic shift from where you have arrived at as a result of Edward's reading today, then do definitely feel free to click the link in the middle of the screen and check out the recital from yesterday from the life and liberation of Padmasambhava. Sounds good. All right. Well, they can't all be winners. Oh, it's that category. All right. Cool. Maybe it melting the brain a little, frustrating slightly, and maybe this is a good kind of exercise. Like sometimes you go to the gym. I don't, but I do yoga over there and I use the exercise bike. But the point is, mental, ooh, that feel. Having ooh, that feels nice on my brain. Ooh, this is very thought-provoking. And wow, I never looked at it that way. It's like one kind of experience. And being like, what are you talking about? Why did Jin name me after this stupid book? Is another kind of experience that you can have, No, I'm just kidding. I will read the whole thing first. It's fine. It is what it is. Besides, I didn't get named after Hermes. I got named after his higher self or whatever. And that's nice. He's usually nice. It's like how I imagine him. I prefer that rather than how he's written in the source text, which defines what he is. So it's sort of like being I'm not really a big fan of Luke Skywalker as he is in Star Wars. Oh, you mean in the sequels? Yeah, nobody is. That's fucking stupid. What the hell were they thinking? Fucking Disney. No, I mean the original Luke Skywalker. Oh, the young boy, because he's I'm gonna go and get some power converters because of that. No, the whole thing. Just him as a hero. I'm not saying this. I like Luke Skywalker, but I named a character after him. The point is, but the way I imagine Luke Skywalker, the way I think he really is he has purple hair and he runs around in circles and screams, meh, 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 meh. And that to me is the real Luke Skywalker, and so I believe in Luke Skywalker, therefore I will name my child Luke Skywalker. And when people say, oh, after the guy in Star Wars, I'll say, don't remind me of that stupid movie with its misrepresentation of Luke Skywalker. No. To me, Luke Skywalker has purple hair, runs in circles going, meh, 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 meh. And that's the Luke Skywalker never mind. You know what I'm saying? Am I making it? Anyway, all right. Well, hopefully next time it'll be better. Who's going to be reading it next time? Is BT? Yeah, BT is going to be reading in part 7, and sometimes he finds things that the rest of us don't find. So you can look forward to that. If you're still watching, that's odd to me, but feel free to click like and subscribe, and comment if you're into it. And otherwise, next time it's going to be, So, okay, here's a little reward, a little gift for those of you who made it this far. So the I Ching book that we've been using, where is it? So we've been using this book, and I got a comment on part 1, someone basically saying, it's too bad you're not reading the I Ching. I'm like, oh, who's this? But then it's like, okay, it seems to be either a Chinese Dutch. I mean, I know, like, they don't necessarily, they'll say, no, I'm Dutch, like, okay. Like, it's based in the Netherlands, but it seems to be Chinese. So it could be a cinephile. I mean, is that the right word? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter his background, right? Or hers. I don't know. I'm assuming based on. Anyway, enough about all that. So a person of unknown origin and ethnicity and gender told me that this is terrible. This is like the worst, that it got stripped of all the yi. The yi was taken out of it. What's the yi? I don't know, because it was taken out of it, and this is my first introduction to the I Ching, and so we don't know. And so I asked, well, what's a better translation? And he said, well, his first example was, well, the Richard Wilhelm. And I'm like, you mean the guy who wrote the guy who translated Secret of the Golden Flower, buddies with Carl Jung? Carl Jung went on and on in his introduction to Secret of the Golden Flower about how great Richard Wilhelm, was it Richard Wilhelm? Richard Wilhelm's I Ching translation was, and how moved he was by it. That translation that ties in with the Black Book series on chicken philosophy and the Secret of the Golden Flower series on chicken philosophy. And of course, he doesn't know any of this, so I'm not talking to him. I'm having the thoughts in my head. And so, you know what I went and did is I went and I got it. And you know what? It's thick as fun. Thick as fuck is what I meant to say. I'm Edward and I'm wearing mala beads or whatever. I don't know. I thought I should behave myself. Edward's a little more self-conscious, but anyway, and thus a little more frustrated. So what are we gonna do? What you gonna do? Was that Borat 2? No. We're gonna finish this actually, because I'm doing the 8 trigrams, the hexagrams that are the doubling of the trigrams, a trigram on top of itself. And so we're going to do those. And then we're going to do the other 56. We're going to run through them as they're presented very simply in here. We're going to keep on going as planned until this book is finished. And then we're going to begin and read this entire book. We're going to be reading the I Ching. We're going to be reading this I Ching forever, for a long time. Maybe as long as we're going to be reading the Nag Hammadi. No, Nag Hammadi's a bit thicker and thicker. The point is, yeah, so that's your reward for staying to the end of the Divine Pymander, is getting a little bit of secret intel about that. So there's that, and was there any... Oh, yeah, Carl Jung. So it's I Ching Book of Changes with foreword by Carl Jung. So you remember how much fun it was? How much I loved 1931 Carl Jung writing introductions to things that Richard Wilhelm was writing about Chinese things? Remember that? how joyful and gleeful and happy of an experience that was for all of us, well, hopefully it'll be better. I don't know. Hopefully it'll be better. Because it's the I Ching, not the Secret of the Golden Flower. Maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. But we will be reading some Carl Jung forward. Hopefully the forward is just like 5 pages of like, this is great, man. It opened my eyes. I'd never heard of China before. China? I thought that was a kind of dish. You know, but it's a place and there's I Ching. What a thing. What a thing. Anyway, here's the Richard Wilhelm. Hopefully that's all he says. If he says anything more than that, I might have to vomit. Because that's how it is. Fucking... I don't hate Carl Jung, but I hate Carl Jung talking about China in 1931. Not China in 1931. Carl Jung in 1931. Why? Because it's like, ugh. Maybe it's a shadow thing. Carl Jung represents an aspect of like something I'm embarrassed about in my own roots. You know what I mean? All right. So anyway, so that's up next. It's going to be Gwydion doing an I Ching reading, and also doing the looking back 14 out of 15 thing. It happens when it's a red and white episode. So after the blue and orange comes the red and white, and then the last, the 15th of 15, the green and yellow. So as promised, Pymander, you know, Pymander's thing from yesterday was different from this, as he said. And so if you want to, you can check that out. I don't necessarily recommend it, but it's up to you. It's your choice. But I am going to go ahead and put that up here and put the, let's say, Gilgamesh 15 down here, just so you can get a nice sampling of one of the relatively newer, I think it's a year ago, but still, you know, cycle of 15 videos. So go ahead and pick this one. It's more fun. But if you want an hour of, you know, like weird, I mean, no, I'll leave it up to you. It's up to you. Take your pick. All right. Until next time.